Just the other day, Mavs Twitter was abuzz as the news broke out that the Dallas Mavericks have the best odds of landing Herb Jones from the New Orleans Pelicans if a trade were to go through. And as always, this changes everything, and it really does, as the New Orleans Pelicans are off to a horrible start this season where they're plagued with injuries and illnesses, and they just can't seem to make any way out of the bottom of the West. And the Dallas Mavericks could benefit from trading for a player like Herb Jones, who could really open up our offense and help bolster our defense. So in this video, we're going to take a look at all the news surrounding Herb Jones, take a look at him as a player and how he could fit with the Dallas Mavericks team, see what the fans are saying, and whether or not this trade could actually happen. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, our last vid's only sitting at 238 likes. I understand 400 may be a tall order, so if we can get this video to 300 likes, I'd appreciate it greatly. But if you're enjoying everything that we're doing here at Mavs Digest, the live streams, the watch longs, the news vids, and everything else in between, drop a like on this video, and I'd appreciate it greatly. But like I said, it was just yesterday morning where the news broke out that the Dallas Mavericks have the best odds of landing Herb Jones in a potential trade. The Dallas Mavericks sit atop with a plus 350, followed by the Memphis Grizzlies, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Houston Rockets, the Los Angeles Lakers, Oklahoma City Thunder, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Indiana Pacers, and the Miami Heat. And this is pretty great. I mean, the Mavs Twitter was abuzz. Everybody was talking about what would it be like if we get Herb Jones. Herb Jones is the missing piece. I'll trade my grandmother for Herb Jones and 5 first-round picks. Everybody turned into Nico Harrison as they believe that Herb Jones was exactly what we needed to fix this team. But don't take my word for it. Let's see what some of the fans are saying. This Twitter page said he would be a dream fit, but it's simply too good to be true. I would overpay because I'm not confident in the fit, but so would other teams. And that last part, so would other teams, is what really rings true. As the Dallas Mavericks, we don't really have a whole lot of trade assets and draft capital to just throw around for a premier player like Herb Jones, who is on a fairly cheap contract that a lot of other contenders with more draft capital and more assets to move, who could definitely throw a better package together for Herb Jones to the New Orleans Pelicans. Like I said in the intro, they are doing very, very bad this season, bottom of the West, dealing with injuries, dealing with illnesses. They just can't get any wins under their belt, far and few as they come, and they could definitely benefit from just hitting the big red button. Just do a full reset. Zion's not coming back anytime soon. Brandon Ingram may get traded as other teams are looking to add him to their roster. You may as well start over with the young guys, and any team that's looking to blow it up wants young players and picks. Unfortunately, with the Dallas Mavericks, our only real assets to move would be Omax, Jaden Hardy. You probably throw in Maxi Kleber as well, and we do have a couple first-round picks that we have yet to move, and even then, I feel like we could get outbid by other teams. But that didn't stop the fans online from just being extremely happy about this news, as this user also said, do anything that doesn't involve giving up Gafford or Najee, and I agree. I think the way that the team is constructed is very, very close to perfect. I mean, obviously, we're not winning every single game, but we play a very good brand of basketball when everyone's healthy and everyone's really on their A game, and we don't need to just throw out what we've built. We don't have to throw away everything that Nico Harrison built over the summer to try and just swing for the fences for someone like Herb Jones, who would definitely impact the Mavericks on day one, not only with his offense, but with his defense. But how well has Herb Jones been playing for the New Orleans Pelicans? Well, let's take a look at his averages. For the season, Herbo is putting up 10.7 points, 3.4 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.6 blocks, 1.9 steals, 1.7 turnovers, 2.9 fouls per game, while shooting 51% from the floor, but he is shooting 29% from 3. It is a down shooting year for Herb Jones. It's not the best that he's had, but when you look at the situation in New Orleans with all their injuries, players in and out of rotation, not able to really play together as a unit, a lot of players' numbers may be a little bit deflated like Herb Jones, where a player like Brandon Ingram, who is arguably their best player available because Zion isn't healthy, would look a little bit better with his more inflated stats. But obviously, Herb Jones would be an amazing asset for the Dallas Mavericks, especially with his on-ball defense, his perimeter defense. He is more so a small forward than a power forward, so if you do trade Maxi and Omax, you would probably ask Herb Jones to play the 4, although a lot of people would argue you'd probably put Herb Jones at the 3 spot. You'd probably put Klay to the bench in lieu of Herb Herb Jones, and we've talked about benching Klay a lot on this channel, and it really just comes down to ego. He was promised a starting role. He's getting a starting role, but I think we can all agree it really doesn't matter who starts. It's more so who finishes and who closes out these games. But Herb Jones would be great for the Dallas Mavericks. He would ideally be a direct replacement of Derrick Jones Jr. Everybody says we need a point of attack defender. Well, there you go. You've got a 6'6" guard who's really a forward, who's a 2-3 player, really. He's very versatile, who you can put him in the starting lineup or have him come off the bench and just torch the other team's second units. It's definitely something that the Dallas Mavericks could explore if this were to just materialize into something more real. And we also went over on this channel how the odds did show that the Dallas Mavericks were one of the favorites to get Jimmy Butler, and you can just wave that off as just speculation, but as we did see, Jimmy Butler did say that the Dallas Mavericks would be a team that he'd be interested in playing for. And we've already talked about that to death, as Jimmy Butler there's no real path for him to come to Dallas without us just getting rid of everything Nico worked hard for in constructing this team. And I think similarly, it could be the same could be said for Herb Jones. Like I said, other teams, contending teams with actual draft capital and assets could put together a much better package than the Dallas Mavericks, where some people think, hey, maybe we do have to look at Klay Thompson and trade him, or maybe Najee Marshall or Quentin Grimes. And I don't think you want to go into something that risky. The team is constructed very, very well right now. If we're able to get Herb Jones for just our bench guys and nothing really of note in our rotation, I'm all for it. But we are in that window to win a championship right now, and any big major moves should have happened over the summer, not in the middle of the season when you're trying to get the team gelled together, playing the right way together. But even so, that doesn't stop fans from just being overly excited, it seems, about this trade idea. Where Kirk Henderson, shout out to Kirk Henderson, he tweeted out saying, I get these emails about odds all the time, and considering you can't actually bet on these things, my only conclusion has to be is that they're made up to generate interest. And so take it with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously, it's good to know that the Mavericks are slowly becoming a destination where players really want to go to, a premier destination where you can come and play winning basketball. We just got to win a few championships just to really solidify that. But yes, these odds are probably just thrown out there to generate interest, trying to see what can these teams get. Like I've said, the New Orleans Pelicans are a very, very bad team right now. They're in a horrible situation. So getting some young players, some expiring contracts to help deal with all that salary that they're dealing with, some draft capital so they can recoup, as they're probably going to tank for Cooper Flag. The New Orleans Pelicans have a clear path, and maybe Herb Jones is a part of their future, maybe he isn't. But if we take a look right here, shout out to the Mavs blog. They also put out their little mock starting lineup if we were to trade for Herb Jones. Looking like our stars would be Luka, Kai, Herb, PJ, and Lively. And off the bench, you'd have Spencer, Grimes, Klay, Najee, and Gafford. Saying unreal lineup. It's never happening because they aren't accepting Hardy, Maxey, Omax, and picks. But it's what dreams are made of, and sometimes you gotta dream for it. I mean, not many people believe that last February we would have got PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Not many people believe we could have got Klay Thompson over the summer and have him choose us over LA, where he's from, where his father played for. Not many people thought we could have moved Tim Hardaway Jr. and get back someone like Quentin Grimes. Nico Harrison has worked magic on this team. We shouldn't rule anything out. If you hear any rumors about the Mavericks linked to a player, best believe we're kicking the tires on the situation. Nico Harrison, as a good GM would, definitely does his due diligence and checks every little corner, every nook and cranny to make sure we get the best deal available, get the best players that fit our system. But another thing that I think we definitely need to look at, I'm over the place, is this right here. What would a trade look like to get Herb Jones? Well, shout out to TGK TV. He's been throwing up a lot of different trade machines out there on Twitter, and he posted this. Pretty much said, no, we don't want to do this, but this is probably what would have to get done. And very similar to the Jimmy Butler trade, you don't want to have to just change up half of your lineup just to try and get one player, because obviously we want Herbert Jones. But if you do have to add more players, maybe some expiring contracts, some picks, maybe it looks like this, where the Mavericks would get Herbert Jones, Daniel Tice, and Javonte Green, and we'd send out Daniel Gafford, Quentin Grimes, Omax, a first round and a second round pick. Where yes, you get Herb Jones, that's who you wanted, and you'd probably replace Quentin Grimes with Herbert Jones, obviously. But because you got to send away Daniel Gafford, there's Daniel Tice, who isn't too bad of a center. He's more of like a second, a backup center. We can focus more on Lively as a starter and don't have to worry about changing his role too much. And Javonte Green, another small forward, why not? You do trade away Omax, you do trade away Quentin Grimes, Gafford, and those picks. I think it's too much. I don't think that's the route that the Dallas Mavericks have to go. I think that the offer, and the only offer we should really be putting out there to other teams before the trade deadline or by the trade deadline is Maxi Kleber, Jane Hardy, and potentially a couple picks. I still feel positive about Omax. I really do like what I've seen from him the last 2 games. I don't want to give up on him just yet. And as we've also mentioned on this channel, that Maxi Kleber as our backup power forward isn't necessarily where we want to be going into the playoffs. And if you can get an upgrade, you go out and get that direct upgrade. But is someone like Herb Jones that direct upgrade to Maxi Kleber? Unfortunately not. They're 2 different type of players. Like I said, Herb Jones is more so a direct replacement of a Derrick Jones Jr. Maybe not as athletic and high flying like a Derrick Jones Jr., but the defense, the height, the wingspan, it's literally all there. And if we take a look right here, looking at their advanced stats, the top half is offense. Herb Jones is a slight edge over Derrick Jones Jr. And as it shows here, he is a year younger, so we get someone who's still developing and who hasn't been around the league like someone like Derrick Jones Jr. But the offense, he does have a little bit of an edge over Derrick Jones Jr. But on the bottom half is his advanced stats for his defense, and it is amazing. He clears Derrick Jones Jr. in a lot of these categories, even the categories that Derrick Jones Jr. really struggles at. That's where Herb Jones excels at. If we could get a player like Herb Jones, or if we could just get Herb Jones, it's like we have Derrick Jones Jr. back for our defense, and we've seen in a few games already this season where our defense looks good. But then it starts to break apart piece by piece, where either this player or this position, where we're in a man-to-man when we should be in a zone, and maybe Herb Jones helps cover those defensive deficiencies. Try to say that 3 times fast. But how is Herb Jones a direct comparison to Derrick Jones Jr.? Well, I mean, just take a look right up. Maybe that was it. They are a direct comparison. There was something else I was going to show you where they pretty much have the same wingspan, same height. They play the same role very similarly. They guard the same positions. So it's not a direct replacement for Maxi, but if we don't want to go into a small ball lineup, if we don't want to have that option, if we don't want to have a stretch 4 as our 5, then yeah, you get someone like Herb Jones. But the unfortunate truth of the matter is that happened just before I started recording this video, is that it was reported that New Orleans, sources said, has no interest in fielding trade pitches for its highly regarded perimeter defensive ace, and they're talking about Herb Jones. So unfortunately, it looks like Herb Jones is off the table. The New Orleans Pelicans are obviously still going to be sellers by the trade deadline, trying to get draft picks, trying to clear up some capital, as they're way over the first apron, maybe even the second apron. They've got money issues. And unfortunately, it looks like Herb Jones will not be on the market, as he is obviously a player they want to keep and build around. But let me know in the comment section down below, would you still want to trade for Herb Jones? Maybe spice up the package, include a few key players? Or do you look around for other players in the league, find a more direct replacement for Maxi and not another small forward like Herb Jones? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for making this far into the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway every single month on this channel. The only way to enter our giveaways is to become a channel member of any tier. But until next time, y'all take care, drink water. Peace.